I've had people offer me jobs with good money. You know what? You're going to hold on to that money. Like, I'm not getting on that boat. I can't do it.
I don't do water because of my hair.
Oh,
He was cute too.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
Well, not for you.
It was a little dude. Like,
He's like the nerdy type.
I'm learning more about CeCe.
Okay, moving on. We have a very, very special guest. Flex Alexander is here. I want to say I grew up with you, but I grew up with you because
Yes.
we about the same age,
Yes,
trust.
yes.
And you are one of the most hilarious guys I
thank
know.
you.
And you're a dancer.
Yes.
Like I was.
I'm a dancer.
I wasn't a club dancer.
always a dancer first.
Look, because in this generation, a dancer is different than a
Different.
dancer
You know, we were
in our generation. So you
yes.
didn't do no pole dancing. I didn't either. I would have got fired the first day.
Definitely not.
But you were a house dancer,
Yes,
and we're
yes,
house heads. So
yes.
this is amazing. So we got him on the show. So I'm really excited. I'm going to say this. He picked these documentaries. We agreed upon them. So what we going to do first, you want to talk about yourself or anything? Let this new generation know what you put out there in the world?
For the generation that doesn't know, I've been doing television since the early 90s, 1991, 92. But most notably known for One-on-One show I created and starred in along with Kyla Pratt. I did a show called Homeboys in Outer Space in the 90s, 97. Show called Where I Live in 1993. Movie called Juice with Tupac in 1993. And
I never saw you.
Yeah. It started. That movie alone just. I remember auditioning for it. I was up for the lead role between myself and Omar Epps, and I didn't get the role. And they said, "Man, we like this kid," so they found something for me in there that actually ended up being memorable with Queen Latifah and myself having a little banter. I've been doing this thing for a while. I started stand-up comedy, but I was a dancer prior to that. I danced for Salt and Pepper. That was like my main group.
Really?
Yeah, I danced for them for years. Did videos with Queen Latifah, a song called Fly Girl.
I remember that.
Along with Omar Epps. He was dancing in there. He was in a group called Men of Vision. God, who else I worked with?
Miss those days when dancers became actors.
Yes. And I got to say, I was one of the first.
Yeah, because
Before J-Lo, before all that.
All of them?
I went from dancing straight into series in 1992.
see,
Yeah.
that unfortunately didn't happen for me.
That's all right.
But here we are.
Here we are on your show. On your show.
Right.
Yes. Let's get into the
Okay,
docs.
so let's get into the docs. So enough about that.
Uh-huh.
I never made it. No, I'm playing.
You made it. You out here.
Okay, so what we decided is do some documentaries.
Uh-huh.
So the first one, which I thought was and the only reason I thought it entertaining is because it said poop in it. Like, I don't know why that made me. I thought it was going to be funny, but it was actually.
There was some funny moments. It wasn't nothing really tragic to me, but I know.
No, that was tragic.
I mean, it was tragic. Obviously being stuck and the power off and everything that was going on. But as far as lives and stuff.
Yeah, like nothing really happened, but
sense,
just a poopy inconvenience.
Yeah, that's why I don't get on boats. That's why I don't do cruises.
I was gonna say, I was hoping that you would be opposite. I have never in my life taken one.
I'm not.
I would
doing that.
never.
I've had people offer me jobs with good money, and I'm like, you know what? You're gonna hold on to that money. Like, I'm not getting on that boat. I can't do it.
I can't. I first of all, I don't do water because of my hair.
Oh God.
I'm one of those.
Oh my God.
I don't do water. Every vacation we go on, I just look at him and go, but you know what? I married someone who also, ironically, doesn't like water either.
Look at that. It's perfect. Perfect.
Opposites do not sometimes.
It's perfect.
So what we're going to do, is it's called Trainwreck. So Trainwreck actually is a series of documentaries of different, so every hour, like it's an hour long, and every episode is different. So this one is called The Poop Cruise. It's on Netflix, and it's a really good series like type documentary. So this is starring Devin Marble, Larry Porret and his daughter Rebecca, they were very interesting.
They were.
They tried to make this they like a sad.
Yeah.
Like,
It was just like
he was making me laugh.
That's all.
You know, my favorite was Abahi. So some of these characters just used their first name. So Abahi, he was the chef that kept cussing.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Laughing like, what's going on? He had me cracking up.
Yes.
Jen Baxter, she was the cruise director. I liked her because she was tried to be calm.
Yes.
And Kaylin and Ashley, the little 3 girls that were drinking.
Yes.
Child.
It was just like,
they were hilarious
they were like,
too.
whatever.
So basically, this was about a carnival cruise. It was called Carnival Triumph. See, another thing about cruises, anytime it starts talking about carnival, that always is a telltale.
Yeah.
But just for me, like, I ain't trying to do all that on the water.
Yeah.
And this was called Carnival. It was Carnival Triumph Cruise, and it was in 2013. It caught fire, and it lost electricity. And the sewer system became backed up, and they gave them like these red bags. Remember that?
Yes.
Red bags. So if you needed to do number 2,
Yes.
they put a red bag under your door and said you had to basically shit in a bag. So you have different stories. So to me, like I said, this Larry and Rebecca, they were a father and a daughter, and they were the ones, I think they were trying to write it in to make it seem like, you know, what a sad story, because he was about to cry, and all I wanted to do was take my daughter on a cruise.
It's like, come on.
I was like, okay, you overreacted and overacted. How about that? And remember the daughter at times going like this?
You're like,
okay, Dad, take it down a notch.
It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. This is a cruise.
So, but they were entertaining, I guess, if you wanted that aspect, the sad aspect of this. But I think it lasted 7 days. They were stranded, and they were stranded in the middle of the ocean.
And they had the little tugboats come out to try to help them.
They remember they had an open bar, which I thought was odd. Like, why would you do that?
But the fun in that, and when they started running out of food, that's when. They started hoarding. They started hoarding. People were going there taking 2-3 plates.
Right, and like fighting. And I'm like, why would you give them an open bar so they can go fighting? And then he was saying, remember they were peeing off the... Remember the one that she said they was having sex on the side? I mean, it was like Sodom and Gomorrah on the boat.
I think they just figured that this is the end.
This might be the end, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, it must be.
We gonna do it all.
I tell you, this particular documentary, even though you also try to put yourself in these positions, because I don't know what I would do, but it also, to me, made you question what would we do as humans in survival mode. And again, it showed, what do we do? Turn on each other.
Yes.
We hoard. It's all about me.
Yeah.
And then there were, I don't even think they told a story of, I want to question about this, about maybe getting together and let's make this work.
Yeah, I didn't see
a story like
that. Everyone's story was either about their individual discomfort or their individual problem.
Getting together and saying, let's figure this out. What we gonna do? Except when the other boat came and they needed cellular.
Yeah, they was yelling and screaming. It was like, yeah.
So I want to say, this documentary is definitely a must-see. I think you need to see this just because poop is in the title.
I definitely think that especially black folks need to see it.
Right, because
we always going on Carnival. Yeah.
Do they?
Oh, Carnival is the black folks cruise, and now Carnival, they have now banned boots on the ground dance. They banned all line dances, all that stuff, rap music, everything.
On a cruise?
On Carnival cruise, yes.
So are they trying to change the clientele?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. But
it probably didn't look like a lot of us was on there.
I don't think it was going to like
one of our islands.
One of our islands. It probably was going to Scandinavia.
Right. I didn't see it. They ain't tell no black story. You know what? Let's say that. I think they could have put a black story on there.
They should.
I want to say African American or whatever you want to say.
Yes.
They could have put that in there. I thought that could have been significant. I think another thing I also question was, I wish they had a little bit more of the original footage, because they kept going in and out of the footage so fast, and I was like, I want to see really what was going on. So watch that. I definitely give this one a 4 remote. That's for me.
I'm gonna give it 3. There were no black stories.
Oh, you know what? Half point. I'll give you right. 3.5 points. Look, let's go. Okay, you know what? You right. Point taken off. Okay, so next we're gonna do. So we like this other train wreck. So we got to stick with the train wreck.
Crazy.
With the documentary. So this one was called The Cult of American Apparel, the Netflix also. This one was directed by Sally Rose Griffith. It's starring Johnny, because a lot of these people, again, don't give their last names. Carson, EJ, and Michelle. And it basically is about the rise and downfall of American Apparel.
Yeah.
And the guy who his name is, I think it's Dov Shaney.
Yeah.
And he was the creator of American Apparel. Now, what I want to say, I'm just being me. I never bought one item. It's just
I did.
It wasn't me.
I had some T-shirts. They had really good T-shirts.
Yeah, I know it was known for
T-shirts. I used
T-shirts.
to love the colors. They would have fun T-shirts, shorts. You could match them up. So I did. I wasn't a frequent buyer, but I remember seeing.
I remember the letters
everywhere, and I remember the warehouse downtown LA.
And it used to be a big building with
huge building,
and that's about as far as I went. I'm not being snooty, but it just wasn't on.
It wasn't Gucci or Chanel or just go ahead.
I love
yeah. Or whoever else. It was none of that. But listen, for kids back then, when you was on a budget, it came through.
Let me stop. I did H&M.
H&M is great.
H&M I love.
H&M is great.
I think H&M was awesome back in that day. So I didn't do apparel because I think I liked H&M because it had a little bit more style. Where, like you said, this one was more just normal T-shirts, tights and shit. I didn't dress like that. So,
but guys,
the story in general,
the story was crazy.
This was a young man who started. I think he started with $10,000, right? And he grew this American Apparel into a multi-million-dollar business.
Yes.
But as usual, a man who gets that much money and that much power tends to use things down below that he shouldn't be using, and therefore he just ruins his whole career.
Yeah, it was. I want to say this: probably not all men do that who create big companies. Not all, because I know some very successful people who are great people. But I think for him, it was probably too much. So soon, and to have all that power, like it's like you waving a wand, and you just like you can do what you want, say what you want. And the one thing that I did like is that they kept the making of it in the United States.
Yes.
So that I dug, and the way they hired people, it wasn't. He was very outside the box when it came to
hiring people. But did he hire those people, as we learned to find out? Yeah. Because they were challenged people, and he ended up mentally abusing them.
Mentally abusing. Yeah.
So he had a myth behind the madness.
Right.
And we end up finding that out. I don't want to tell the whole thing, but it was a rise, and it definitely was a fall.
Definitely.
And he turned out to be. A very interesting character, as you'll see, and he ended up losing everything.
But not really, because then he turned around.
Well, then he ended up going with Ye.
Yeezy, yeah.
Ye is the person, and
Yeezy was the brand. A lot of these kids who are young and really looking to find their place in the world, and it seemed like he was giving them that opportunity to define themselves. They had responsibility that they never had. The girl who was running it was 25 years old, and
remember the sex the guy that was the sex
the other guy,
me cracking up.
He
what
was
was
funny.
His name?
Oh
he was so funny to me.
Yeah, he was funny. I forgot his name.
His name was Johnny. Johnny was shout out to Johnny, because he had me cracking up.
He was funny. And then you see old films of him walking around with that little dog.
Yeah, I like Johnny. Johnny made it fun.
Yeah,
he put the fun into
it. Definitely did.
But this is also another one, Trainwreck, another one great to see. They have a couple. There's quite a few, and I think this is actually a great series in itself, because you really only need that really cute little hour to get the And this guy, I'm also, the only other thing is you don't know what really actually happened to him after, even though he worked with Ye. Am I saying that?
Yeah.
You don't know where he is
he's
today.
Still there. I think
is he?
Yeah, I think he's still.
Really?
Still.
I mean, you would have to do your homework because I like when they say this happened to that character.
I don't want to tell too much, but the claims that came out, whatever. Anyway, he still
end up getting
going to LA Apparel.
Yeah,
LA Apparel. He helped build LA Apparel. Then he left there. And then they just showed the picture. Then he went to. Then you see that. So they left you with him at
but yeah, that's what I remember. And then we don't know what happened to the other Johnny, because Johnny, where you at?
And then the
like
other kid who was a Mormon.
Yeah, him. And then the girls. So I always kind of wonder what happened to them. Are they still working? And
and if they had PTSD.
Like what happened? Did you sue? So it kept a question mark for me on this one. Mm-hmm. You don't know what really the end game was. So that's the only thing I would take away from this one. But see, I'm going to say this one, I'm going to give it a 4 remote.
I'm giving this one an 8.
Oh,
I never
got an 8 on the show, even though that's not.
Because I really, I just think that, twists, turns, and then there was another story of how when he hired them, how he hired them. Mm-hmm. What they had to do and all that stuff. And then him being in his drawers all the time or being naked with employees with it. Like he just was crossing all lines.
Was all lines. Because that was way before we had the Me Too and all that, because he couldn't do that now.
Oh, listen.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm wondering, is he still practicing the same kind of behavior at Yeezy? Yeah. And that makes you wonder, like, has he been getting any trouble?
Haven't heard anything.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything.
At that point, you can
do that now for name. Sure. Yeah. So, okay. I never had no 8 remotes.
That's
an
8 for me. It had my attention.
Yeah. I think also a reason to watch this is about getting that so fast, like you said, and knowing your boundaries.
Yeah.
And also the rise and fall that I don't know why people don't, when they get that money that fast, watch stuff like this and go, you know what, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
It's a learning experience about abuse of power.
Yeah. Like he looked like to me that he probably was tiny, a tiny kid in school, like probably got bullied, probably pushed around. And when they get this position, they go, okay, now here's my retribution. Mm-hmm. I think that happens with a lot of people who weren't used to spotlight or used to controlling things. So when they get it, they go, I'm going to show them. Like he came across to me as that person.
He was cute too. Yeah. I mean,
what?
I mean, well, not for you.
No,
it's a white guy.
No, I can look at a guy and say, okay, that's a handsome guy, but he was a little dude. He had a mush beard. Like, it was ridiculous. Like,
he's like the nerdy type, like the ideas.
Okay.
I mean,
he had the funny color drawers. Okay.
I mean, maybe. Okay, moving on.
Learning more about CeCe.
Some interesting dates back in my day.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so next what we're going to do, Sunday's Best. You know what? When you suggested this, of course, when I saw Sunday's Best, I was thinking of something church, some kind of...
Yeah, because there was a show called Sundays.
Oh, what?
So there was a show called Sunday's Best. It was like American Idol for gospel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, remember? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's what the first thing I thought, like, oh, Lord, we about to watch some kind of something about church, and they didn't captured the people, and I was like, okay, another one of those. But then I said, you know what? I called my husband in to watch this because he's starting to, understand a little bit about American culture.
Right.
And so this one is called Sunday's Best, the Ed Sullivan Untold Story. And this also is on Netflix. It's directed by Sasha Jenkins.
The late Sasha Jenkins.
Oh.
He passed away a few months ago. Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Sasha's a great brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not in this though,
no,
right? He just started. Oh, okay. Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And it's starring Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, Harry Belafonte, and Tito Jackson and Dionne Warwick, and much, much more.
Yes.
But because I don't want to throw all the names out, because they had some really great nostalgia.
Yes.
That's one thing I loved about this was the great nostalgia. So it's basically about Ed Sullivan, at that time, young man who brought Black culture to white Americans, white TV, but also Black homes as well. And he broke barriers by bringing in Black artists. I think he said vaudeville, right?
Vaudeville.
Vaudeville. And he put people like James Brown on, Diana, the Jacksons, Bojangles. I love, like I said, the nostalgia, bringing it back to Pearl Bailey and people that this particular generation, doesn't know about. You say these names and they're like, who? Yeah. But these are how we started, how we got on. And he helped break those barriers, get the doors open to Black people in that, generation, which, I applaud, right? Again, then he brings into the Kennedy assassination, Martin Luther King, Emmett Till, like a lot of nostalgia information. And it goes on to tell about how he started, this. So I want to say I enjoyed all of that, even though I already knew a lot of that for myself. But now my husband, being from another country, did not know any of that. So that was informative to him. So the only thing that I had questioned, even though I wanted to know, was, he did all this, but do you think there was an aspect of him doing it because it was a niche? We were a niche at the time, just like we are to me today. We're a niche. You're going to make your money. People going to watch. Right. Were we a niche to him? That was one question. The other thing that brought up a lot for me was it told a story of us, which I love, of course, but it didn't really tell a story of him. So there were things that I end up just looking and Googling, which I wish they had told us about. He had a temper. That wasn't brought up out. And that's some things when you do biographies or documentaries, rather, you got to tell the good and the bad.
I think
because it says untold story of Ed Sullivan.
I think to add, a person, he had a temper. I don't think that makes him less credible.
Oh, not at all.
Or that's like saying like Michael Jackson
had a temper.
Could be, but most people don't know that.
Yeah, but that's why when you say untold.
Right, but what I'm saying is, then you've heard stories. Michael, they tell stories about Michael, but no one ever brings that up, and we're like, okay, cool. So the thing about Ed Sullivan, those are, personal attributes or what's the other word I'm looking for? Characteristics that I don't think, when you're telling a story of someone breaking ground, really moves the needle. For me, watching it, I learned a lot about his background and being born in Harlem, coming from an Irish background where the Irish at the time were looked at like we were. We looked the same way. They looked at like lazy people that didn't want to work, just below the totem pole type people. And the story of his father was always one to say, hey, you always root for the underdog. And I think that's one of the things that he did carry. And doing, when he started the show, if you notice in there, when they had that big ball and they ended up shooting some of it and saying, okay, we want to do a show. Even at that time, he was like, I want to pick the best talent. Whether it's black, white, or different, the best talent. That's how he and Bojangles became great friends.
Right. I like that.
They became great
particular storyline. That was a good one.
He looked at the heart of, Bojangles, what he went through, and then even ended up paying for.
And then he had the shoes.
Yes,
that was cute, and paying for his funeral. And I thought that was all beautiful. And I think what I'm just saying, as someone looking into the documentary, I also want to not necessarily know, I don't want to ever take away from a documentary like this person was just amazing all around. So that's why I'm saying not to knock
But how can you, in a documentary, because there's so many documentaries.
Well, because like for instance, so there's Bojangles, but there was also Bo Diddley.
Right.
So what they brought that Bo Diddley that he threw, he banned him for the show. which was, to me, that's like, oh, okay. So he, you know, he had he also actually Elvis, and it was Elvis and I have the Doors. He wouldn't let back on the Doors. He banned them. So those kind of, I'm not saying knocking what he did. I also want to see that side. Like, oh, why did he ban the Doors? Like, who does that? To Jim Morrison.
But it's just like just shooting, like they finished in the Michael Jackson movie. It's like
another one.
They had to do the better one, not the one I did. How much you can fit? We can pick different things, and I'm not even saying it because my good friend, executive produced it, because I looked at it because there were things I knew outside of that, but for me, if that's the case, every documentary that comes out, everything's not going to be in there. You're
not everything.
You're not going to be able to pick
but
everything.
We want to break down. If you say Untold normally means things we don't know.
A lot of people don't, though. A lot of people didn't know his story. A lot of people
right, that's
didn't know
right. Oh,
he fought
like
against...
my husband didn't, but then he said, and he coming from Amsterdam, he said it was an untold story, and it's still untold. I still didn't get what this man was about, the full story. So like one instance as well, I wrote down, did you know he also helped a lot of country artists? And that wasn't really brought up. And it was because of his frame of how he did the show, Hee Haw came around.
Right.
So these are the things to me that are untold. Like we know, I felt like in this documentary, it told our history, but
which
I would have liked the whole country. I wouldn't have known that. What happened to his people? Where's his side? Like his I know he had a daughter.
I met his granddaughter.
Yeah, but they weren't on the show. Like people.
She was a producer.
You didn't. He didn't. Or whoever did it. Oh, not Star Trek. But they didn't get an interview from them, like how their dad or grandfather or whatever. If he had grandkids, I don't even know if he had grandkids.
I met her.
Like if we could have did an interview, she didn't want to do an interview. You think
she wanted it to be focused on? She didn't want to take anything away from. She said she wanted to have people people who experienced him, people who, because she was 8 when he died.
Oh,
so
okay. This is the granddaughter.
The granddaughter.
Okay.
Yes. For
someone, like you said, that doesn't know Ed Sullivan in our history and our culture, it's a wonderful documentary. I love that. I just wanted to. I guess I want to say I wanted to hear more. I wanted to know more aspects of who Ed is, but not taking away from what he did for our culture and just culture in general.
Yeah.
So I liked it. Again, I'm gonna give this one 4.5 remotes, believe it or not. I really did enjoy. I just wanted more. And so when I see documentaries and I have more, I have questions like, why didn't they add this, or that makes me like, I want to know other characteristics of his mind.
I think every documentary I've ever watched, I've always wanted more.
Yeah, right.
Was it the 3 killings of Sam Cooke?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, like
they thought he was killed.
Yeah, there was so much stuff that was left out there. You know what I mean?
This is when you need a part 2. And that's why I'm saying maybe he'll do another one. Yeah, another part 2 to it. But he's a great of course, you said he passed, the director, but it was greatly directed. Yeah. And again, the nostalgia, cinematography, and then the old clips are amazing. I love that. Always. So I give it a 4.5 remote. What say you?
I'm still back at 8.
Okay, I want you to know that the top is 5.
Oh, my bad.
I'm like, you may.
But I'm busting through the roof.
I'm like,
okay, well, I'm going 5.
I accept that.
Well, let's go 5 for the first one, for Poopy, and then we're going to go 5. No, what did I give?
You gave it an 8, so that's a 5.
No, I give American Apparel.
Okay.
American Apparel.
5.
Poopy, I went with 3.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have us.
American Apparel, I'll go 5, and this one we'll go 5.
Okay, cool. Bad. See, and I said 4.5 remotes. Yeah, so it's 5. Not. I was like, okay, well, maybe I should tell him the scales. Yeah. Even though, but 8 is good. I mean, because that means you off the Richter.
We'll take it.
But yeah, so 4.5 remote for me. 5. It's a must see. Definitely.
Definitely a must see.
I think it's definitely a must see. And I definitely feel like this particular generation needs to always go back to our history.
Always.
Because of what's going on in the music business in general. Exactly. And what they don't understand, what they're just effing off right now. Like what we had to really go through to get where we are, and all this stuff they have out now. I'm not trying to knock this generation, but I am. Of how we came here and where we are now. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's definitely for this generation to go back. And that's why I think this is a must-see for sure.
Definitely.
So that is it for this particular episode of Remote Reviews with CeCe. Thank you, Flex.
Thank you,
Alexander. I want to put some house music after this.
You got to play something.
You post that shit, yeah.